What's up, what's up, what's up, worst damn crew ever? It is your boy, the worst damn gamer ever, welcoming you to another edition of the Midnight Matinee. This one, we got Captain Marvel going. We've been chopping up all of these MCUs. So glad to be getting through them. I got a whole list out till July, the end of July. For this one, again, we got our favorite host, Mr. Gruesome Sturdy of Horror Research.
How's it going, everybody? It's your boy, Sir Sturdy. I'm back. Let's get into this, though. I'm excited for this. Man.
Bro, this is why I love doing it, like, right when we're just done watching it or whatnot. It's because we're hyped for this shit. It's still fresh. It feels good, you know what I'm saying?
Oh,
So
yeah.
I'm enjoying this. I just got through the whole schedule today, made a document with all of the episodes that are coming on just the MCU stuff, and I got up until July 23rd. So you guys got to watch that, the shorts that we're going to be doing. I came up with a game plan for some of the episodic stuff that's in the MCU universe, like the Loki, WandaVision, all that stuff. So I can't wait to get all of this content out for everybody. It's going to be a journey, but I'm also looking for guests. So if you catch this podcast, if you're a person who enjoys or doesn't enjoy the MCU, and you want to be on here to counteract whether or not we like it or whatnot and add your 2 cents, check out the post I put on the Z Network. Check out the post on my page. Check out the post on my personal page. And I also got it on my Instagram and TikTok as well. We can have you on the show as well. Sturdy.
Yeah. What's up?
Agent Sturdy.
Yeah, I figured I might as well just stick with the name. Honestly, I forgot to change it. I didn't even do the mask and all that stuff, people. I apologize. Sturdy fucks up sometimes.
It's all good. It still goes with the whole MCU theme and everything like that.
Yes.
Bro,
Yes.
Starting off with this one right off the get-go. Give me your first impression.
Again, going back to our conversation from the previous episode of the whole woman empowerment thing, and like that, I love that kind of stuff because they don't do it in a way where it feels forced.
Okay.
With the empowerment of it. I mean, yes, superhero movie, I get it, but there's still like a lot of messages and shit. And I really enjoyed it. I really, really, really enjoyed it. This is actually my second watch, well, 1.5 because I had some stuff to do, but still, I don't know. I don't know what Marvel was doing before this whole MCU universe. I remember the stuff they had coming out before, but they got it. They got it right. And again, second movie in the universe. And I really, really, really enjoyed it. I can't wait to just break this thing down, man. How about you?
This is so dope because I was looking back and actually in its releases and the schedule or whatnot for, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, this was actually the 21st movie they put out. And for it to technically be the second movie that goes down in the chronological order of the timeline in its universe is fucking dope as hell, first off. Yeah. Second of, again, you got a great woman of power figure. I mean, Captain Marvel. I wasn't a person who followed the comic books or anything like that from this, but definitely this story is super dope. I'm not afraid of sci-fi. I'm not afraid to shy from anything in the stars or anything, which as time goes on and we get through these movies, you're going to see that plays even more of a role, right? As things go on. We've already seen alien technology in the first Captain America that Red Skull was using, and now we get to see an alien entity, which kind of isn't an alien entity because she's not an alien. If as the movie progresses, you realize she's actually a human, not just a humanoid from another planet or region of the galaxy or whatnot. But they do a great job at establishing these things and making sure that these points are hit and they're cohesive and they're coherent and they actually line up with how the dominoes are supposed to be falling. So this is, again, I'm super happy to get through this, and this is now my 4th or 5th time watching this movie.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Like I said, I've been through the MCU a couple times already. So it's kind of like, okay, cool beans for me. I really enjoyed the characters and the acting or whatnot. Brie Larson, I've never heard of up until this point.
Yeah.
So it's super dope to see somebody like her just come into a role like this and kill it. It's dope to see other actors like Jude Law come up. We already know Samuel L. Jackson. I mean, he's one of the actors that, is arguably one of the best actors in Hollywood who still doesn't get accredited. I mean, I don't think the dude still won an Academy Award. You know what I mean? So it's like, motherfucker's been doing this and in movies for goddamn like 50 years. So it's almost like, what is going on? He's obviously doing something right. He obviously makes this industry money. So what is up? And especially after taking on a role like this of Nick Fury that spans 20 some odd years of filmmaking, 15, 20 years of filmmaking. And now not only does it in real life span that long, but it also spans generations in the film of the universe, because this took place in 1995 in their world, in their universe. It's just super dope how Marvel, the executive producers and was it Feige, have done all this. They have the right writing teams, and even though directors change and shit like that for all these movies, it's so great that their attention to detail in keeping things in order, keeping things in line, and not fucking it up, and not having plot holes that completely diminish other things that go on. It's flabbergasm to me. It's overwhelming at some points. Like if I had to do it, you know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, no, I definitely need people behind me. Like fact check this, make sure go back, make sure this is all straight. I loved it again.
Again, it's hard not to love. And I mentioned this when we were watching it. I was like, oh, what is his name? Is it Jan Rogue? Is
Jan
that
Rogue, yep, Jude Law, yep,
the leader of the Kree?
yep.
The way he was talking to Kara Danvers, Captain Marvel, it made me think of like a dude who's just trying to control his girl. Like just pretty much, you're not going to see your real friends. You're not going to see your real family. Kind of like an abusive thing, but not physically. You know what I mean? Not that it's more of like an emotional thing, like just filling her head up with bullshit because he wants it to be her way. And he knows how powerful she is now and how powerful she can become.
Right.
So he's like, we need her. We need her. This is it. Fucking blah, blah, blah. We're going to erase her memory and then fill it with this, with what we feel and what we think. And I just love how their story progresses and it kind of shows you how it, you know what I mean? How all that thing plays out, which was just amazing how they played it out. And they didn't make it look like a boyfriend girlfriend drama thing because it wasn't.
No.
But I'm just saying, I just use that as an example to kind of break it down a little bit easier. But
Yeah,
that's
no,
kind of
it was definitely the whole like mentor mentee dynamic, but it's crazy to see where exactly it came from because she wasn't meant to be part of this. She was a person from Earth. She was in the military. She had nothing to do with any type of astro anything. You know what I mean? And because she was trusted by this other person who was on Earth, creating this technology and had developed something that they wanted, then now she gets pulled into this world, and then it's like it's kind of like the whole conquerors come in, even though at that point it wasn't that situation. Conquerors come in, destroy, and take a survivor or whatnot and train them as their own, which kind of plays a role later, but that's going later. But yes, they kind of did that. But then the other twist to this whole relationship and the dynamic of who they are and what they are then becomes the question of shit, who is the bad guys and who is the good guys. I thought we were the good guys. I thought the Crawl was the good guys. I thought, I thought the Creed was the good guys. Turns out, as the movie progresses, you start to see there's some underlying issues there, and there's some I guess mistrust and deception that occurs, and it's not even really coming from the entities that are literally able and have the ability to deceive. With the Kralls being able to shapeshift and shit like that, it's coming from the people that are plain in sight that trained you, that made you what you are at this point.
Yes.
And then you find out, the head games that are played and how they're keeping her under control with the device, and the whole notion of what's given can be taketh. You know what I mean? Type shit.
Yeah. No,
So
you're right. You're right.
I love that, and I love how they rolled that out and shit like that. Yeah, the scenery in this movie, just the cinematics in this movie, from the CG to space and all that shit, it's top fucking notch.
I fucking loved it. And really quick, because for those of you, if you do follow what you should be, Horror with Sir Sturdy, and you hear us talking about the CGI and stuff in horror, for this type of stuff, I love it. It's amazing. They do it right. For horror, it's hit or miss for me. I rather practical effects, and I'm not apologizing for that. But for this type of stuff, it's the cinematography, everything was beautiful. It looked realistic with a lot of the stuff to me. And again, more shots at DC. that water hero you guys call Aquaman, which was terrible. Take some notes. Take some notes. Get better casts. Don't pick the pretty boys just because the girls are gonna like them. Pick good actors. If you want to pick attractive people, I'm fine with that. But pick people that can actually play the roles.
Yep.
Not hating on Jason. I think he's a cool dude, but he shouldn't be in these type of movies. If he's in,
it's tough.
Like he could be like in a thing like a fantasy thing with castles and stuff. Not too many speaking roles, but he can't be a lead role, and he can't be someone like Aquaman. I know people aren't big fans of Aquaman, and I know we're not talking about that, but just really quick, I just had to bring that up because, again, I have the movie playing right now, watching it on mute, and I'm just looking at how amazing it looks, and I'm just like, again, the visuals, actually, I should say it like this, the story lives up to the visuals.
Yep. 100%.
Which we've had this discussion. I'm sure we're going to continue to have this discussion through this whole Marvel universe because, again, you could have a beautiful shot movie and a shitty story, or vice versa, or you could be DC and have both. Terrible. That's besides the point again. And this, they did it right. They did it right. Like, there's fans that just love these films. People line up for these films. These tickets sell out like this. People will line up wrap around buildings for these films. I understand it. I won't do it as far as movies go, but for cons and all that stuff, I understand it. And it's just, I love it. And I love how it brings so many people together. Which is awesome as well. Which, I mean, I guess that could be a little message through these movies, a little small message through these movies as well. Just because we all look different, sound different, and everything. We're all different. We're all people. We all bleed. But this story was just another awesome story, and I'm kind of glad that I'm not. I mean, part of me is, part of me isn't. That I didn't really get into comic books just because I know how. Not all, but you know, if you're a comic book fan, again, not all. They're real deep into the story, so they want it to be, which I understand. You want it to be just like that, and you're not always going to get that. You may get some bits and pieces or close to it. So I'm kind of glad in that sense, but at the same time, I kind of wish I was more into it, just so I knew more of the stories of these things that we love to watch on TV, even if it wasn't by the book, so to speak. It's still dope. You know, it'd still be dope to see. But yeah, I can't say enough about this movie, man. I can't say enough.
That's kind of the best part about these Marvel franchise, right? What happens is they have a source material that's already there, that's laid out and is so good that they're able to make sure they stick to the things they need to stick to. And if they have to make minor changes for the sake of it being a 2-hour, 3-hour movie for Hollywood, telling a story that may have taken them 6 months in a comic book, a year in a comic book, you know what I mean? We're talking an issue every week, you know what I mean? So it's like you condense that all down, but you still get the point across. And it does it justice. I mean, they're doing their thing. They're doing the right thing by the source material. They even make sure they give little head nods. It was one of the little tidbits I wanted to bring up, but like when she's, you know, it's fast forwarding a little bit here, but you know, as once she comes out of the situation and realizes and becomes woke, right? Because now she realizes that she's part of the Creed and the Creed isn't exactly who she thought they were. So now she has to go about on her own, and she realizes she has all this power. You know, she starts to have the identity situation come into play where she has to, well, who am I? Well, I'm no longer Marvel, I'm Captain Marvel, you know, and she has to select the color scheme, a new uniform, so that she doesn't look like them anymore. She doesn't want to. She doesn't want to be associated. But even those renditions that they did while the little girl was using her thing to help her pick her color schemes were head nods to Miss Marvel, were head nods to the original Creed colors and uniform from the comic book. They were head nods to the other comic book suit that she used as well within the series or whatnot. So that was super dope. And then she finally ends up with the one that now is synonymous with her in this universe and these movies. So that's, you know, I mean, like, it's cool to have shit like that be able to be thrown in and they still not take away from anything, really. It adds to this story and it didn't take away from the originals. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I agree. And like I said, I don't know the original stories I'll say at all. But either way, they just did a great job. Like, again, they drag you in. Like, watching this, it starts off a little bit slow, but then after it picks up, and you're already invested by, say, about a half hour into the movie, you're already invested, and it's like, oh wow, this is a good story. I'm not gonna lie to you though. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. When I first started watching this, I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this as much as Captain America. And then as the movie went through and built up, I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna give you guys my rating yet, but this is a really good freaking movie. This is an excellent freaking movie. Like, I like how they had the little flashbacks of her, bits and pieces of the flashbacks here and there. Like, she had some memory, but it wasn't like all the way there yet until later in the movie.
Yep.
And speaking of her suit, what I thought was cool slash funny slash I guess you could say cute is when she goes up to the little girl. She's like, "Hey, since you're the only person who has a sense of style here, I want you to help me create my suit, like make
Yep.
my suit colors and all this stuff." Because she has to get rid of the Kree colors, and she ends up using, because the little girl has the shirt on with the logo, which I have in the bottom corner if you guys can see that.
Yep.
I know it's tough to see because the yellow, but ends up using that, like that logo's on her shirt and the colors all on her shirt. She's like, "How about we just use this because we're a team now or something." And I thought that was cool. And
Yeah.
stuff like that, again, going back to the whole inclusive thing, going back to the women empowerment and the dope stuff with minorities and stuff, which I said I'm sure we'll be discussing later on down as it happens, is as I can speak for myself, and I'm sure, Chris, you can agree with this, as a minority, and I'm sure for women too, it's cool seeing someone that looks like you doing something cool on TV rather than being the victim or the villain. Like, it's cool seeing yourself, someone that looks like you being the hero. I think it's very important. I love how they brought that in, even though it's just with the little girl with that's still cool because there's probably little girls that's like, "Oh, that's so cool," or little girls looking up like, "Hey, I want to be like Captain Marvel when I grow up." I think that's always awesome.
Yeah.
I think stuff like that is always awesome. So it's like we for me and you also, we don't have to just be Batman, Superman, blah 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 blah. We could be Black Panther, Blue Beetle, and so on and so forth. And I love that Marvel's actually bringing this stuff into fruition, and not only that, but giving these movies like solo, you know what I mean? Giving these characters solo movies.
Yep.
So it's not like you're just like they could have just did what DC does: Batman, Superman, Batman, Superman, Batman, Superman, Justice League, Batman, Superman, Batman, Superman, Batman, Superman. And it's just like, what about everybody else? Like, I love what Marvel's doing. Keep it up, Marvel.
Yeah, I mean that just pays homage to, Stan Lee and his vision, and then where he was able to make sure that his artists and his storytellers, when they were doing all of the comics subsequent after his originals, made sure they continue to embrace and rope all the other stories into it with this whole universe that he created, because he was that was his whole point. Like, he wanted to show, that uniqueness in people is okay. That's where X-Men comes from and stuff like that. It's like, these are mutants, but if you think of it, mutants are just people with differences, right? And
Yep.
that's where that whole shit comes from and everything like that. So now you take this to another aspect. Now we're talking alien, right? But they're still life. They're still a person. So there's still value, and there's still, compassion. There's still anger. There's still all the same emotions, just
Mm-hmm.
now from a higher place. You know what I mean? They may be more intellectually advanced than us or technologically advanced than us, but at the same time, look at the Crawl. They show, hey, we're just refugees at the end of the day. We're just fucking another species of people that are trying to survive. We just want a home. He literally says it. We just want a home.
Yeah, because the Kree messed up the Skrulls' home, so we just want a home, and that's it. We don't care about what was the thing called? I forgot what that box thing.
Tazarac?
We don't care about the Tazarac. They just wanted to go home, and that was it.
Yep.
That was it.
Yep.
And I mean, you get that though. You get that though. You understand that. It's like, okay, I don't want to fight. I don't want to kill. I just want to be with my family, my loved ones, and all that, my people, and go home. That's it.
Yep. As these MCU's movies start to progress and get closer and closer to the middle and towards the end of the saga with Avengers and all that stuff, you start to find out even more about the Creed, and there's
Yeah.
entities that were part of the Creed and all this other stuff. But then you start to learn, like, the manipulations, things that are being played and shit like that, by even higher powers than the Creed, and all this other shit, and this whole, like, domino effect of things, of this whole greater picture that's being done and unraveled and stuff like that as these movies start to come out. I think they just do such a great job with humanizing the aspects that they need to, and then grouping in, and like, this is one of the best things, especially with the aspect of Earth, you know being under attack or being invaded and all this other stuff. It, like, plays a role into, hey, there's still a human aspect of this, and even though this is going on, we still got to work together and make something happen, or survive together. And I just love that whole part of it, where it just starts to snowball that effect of, yes, even though we think we're the biggest and baddest thing in this universe, we're not. But at the same time, now we need each other, and that may mean not just us, that may mean other things as well, other species as well, to make sure that we all survive.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right with that. And really quick, I wanted to ask you, what did you think about? I loved it. I thought it was hilarious. But Samuel L. Jackson in this movie was great.
Oh yeah, I fucking, it's hilarious how they just made him look fucking like 40 years younger.
Yeah, I know.
They made him like 25, 30 in this movie. He's
With
like
some white hair.
72. Yeah, like
And what was funny though was like I mean, you get to see why he's wearing the patch, which I loved. They didn't have to do it, but they did it. Like, I thought that was cool. And I like how he was like, call me. He's like, call me Nick or Fury or whatever.
yeah,
He was like, she was like, well, what did your mother call you? Fury. What do you call your mother? Fury. What do you call? What do your kids call you? Well, if I had him, Fury.
Fury. Yep.
I
No,
just love that. And the part that had me almost in tears laughing, I know you've seen me, is that when he stopped for the cat, he's like, oh, he kid, this got because again, this was my first time watching the movie, so when I see Nick Fury, you just see a badass through the rest of the later films. You see a
yeah,
badass Stanley on the bus, dope, and it was cool to see that other side, like before he became like one of the top guys in Shield. Before you know what I mean, before he became what we know Nick Fury as, like to see that side, it was cool to see that,
yep,
and it was also funny to see Brie Larson, sorry, Captain Marvel punching that old lady in the face on the
yep.
bus. And everybody's reaction was just like, "What the
What
fuck?"
the hell just happened? Oh!
What's funny about that is we already
And
know
then
who's
she
gonna.
just goes fucking full Yoda on her and fucking starts going parkour, kicking her ass
Yeah.
and shit.
Well, the funny part about because that's you knew it was either gonna be someone black or Spanish doing that. You knew it, and it's in New York. It's in right. They're in the city, right?
Uh
Or did they? No, no, no. Or did they
this
say?
was, where was this one? Was this
Maybe
California
no.
or
That
was
wasn't.
this,
That wasn't in the city. I think that was more of a farm.
shit,
Either
now
way,
I don't remember. Now I
either way,
don't
that part
remember.
was. He was. Oh, that part was hilarious. I loved it. I'm like, yes, yes. Just little fun parts like that. When she comes to Earth and lands in a blockbuster. Tell
Yeah.
me that does not bring you back. Like
Oh
as soon
hell
as I
yeah.
seen that, I was like, I wish these things were still around. Sorry for swearing so much, but I wish these things were still around.
Yeah, shit.
I really, really, really do because it's again, I've mentioned this before. I mean, watching this on Disney Plus, of course, but there's nothing like going to the video store. Just imagine going to the video store back and then grabbing something like this.
Yep.
You know how amazing that would have been?
I mean
Like grabbing something like this.
that was a huge driver of family time. You know what I mean? Besides playing board games or something like that, or sitting down and playing. You know, once games got to the point that you can have multiple people in the living room with
Hmm.
three, four controllers. You know what I mean? With those abilities, this was family time. This was the Friday night. This was the Saturday night. You know what I mean? Like, yo, we're gonna go pick three movies. You get to pick one. Okay, you pick your one movie. You guys all sit down. They more than likely watch yours first to get that bullshit out the way, and then it's to the other movies because by that time you'll be tired and it's time for bed or whatever. You know what I mean? But you still got your chips. You can still
Yeah.
got your pizza or your soda or your candy or whatever. You know what I mean?
For us it was very similar. We got a couple movies, sometimes a game, and it was more so okay. We'll watch this movie together, but kids, you go off to the room or whatever, or a lot of times because of my one cousin that's in the wheelchair, my mother would just let us camp out and take over the living room. She would just
Yeah.
go. She'd want to be away from us anyway. We get on her nerves.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
she'd let
parents need a break. Let's be honest. Parents don't hate us, but sometimes they need to get the fuck away from us.
yeah, yeah, but again, that brings up a great point of just sitting down watching these films. Like this would have been awesome. I mean, like kids that get to watch it now, yes, Disney Plus, but just think how cool it would have been to go renting the movie. Yes, the theater is cool, but I missed the movie rental experience. That's one thing I miss about this. And
Yeah.
these would have been amazing because I'm sure you were similar. Like as far as like when certain series came out, for me, obviously it was mostly horror. You're like, okay, I want to see part one, part two, part three. So it's like, okay, we go every Friday as long as you stay out of trouble in school, you do your chores, all that good stuff. Fridays, rent a movie night, get your get your little snacks, get your popcorn, friends, family come over, have a little sleepover, whatever the case may be, whoever's house it's at.
Yep.
It's like, okay, we watched 1, 2, and 3 these past few weeks, or sometimes we'll get 1 and 2. Let's get the rest. And this would have been really, 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 really fun to go through like that.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So just to bounce back a little bit to some of the things you said. So we had the bus scene there where, she hits the old lady who's actually one of the aliens in disguise,
Cool. Yeah.
right? That scene there, just before that scene, actually, it was Stan Lee makes his cameo. Little tidbit about that: Stan Lee was declining at that point, so since they couldn't get him to just get his lines down and do it, and he wasn't up to it, what they actually did was they called fucking homeboy that did what's his name, Silent Bob. Because
Uh, Kevin Smith.
yeah, and they asked him if he had any footage of the Stan Lee situation with him repeating his lines, trying to get his lines, and they did. So that's actually the shot they used for that.
Wow, that's great.
From
That's awesome.
Mallrats. Yep, from Mallrats.
Wow.
Yep.
Rest
And
in
that,
peace to Stan Lee, though, man. That guy was legendary. I wish he was still around.
it's unfortunate. It happens. Old age gets us
I mean,
all.
he's older. Yeah, it's just.
I mean, the guy was like in his 90s, I think.
Yeah,
So
I think he was about 92, 93. But no, I'm just saying, just for not even for the simple fact of him, just for the movies, for our selfish reasons, of course, he's a great guy. But I'm gonna miss the cameos.
Yeah.
Like when they stop happening, I'm gonna miss those. I thought those were always awesome, and it would be cool to have. I don't know who, but it'd be cool to have like another cameo of somebody that's just always in the. You know what I mean? Just kind of a quick. I don't know who, but it has to be someone that's just, of course, not in the movie really, but
Yeah.
it's kind of like in a background. You see that person.
I don't know if his because he had another partner in drawing them and shit and doing the comics, but I'm not sure if he's still alive or if he would be up to it or whatnot. Or
Yeah.
I don't know if they might have had a falling out at some point, the money and the business side of it, but I don't know that whole story. Another situation, we were talking about just before that, the cameo, then we talked about the old lady beating ass,
Mm-hmm.
and then there was something else after that. But Nick Fury. I was kind of annoyed with the whole explanation of how his eye situation goes. It was a little too quick and simple for me. Like, he's Nick Fury. I understand you're showing him before he becomes that hardened Nick Fury that is the head of Shield and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But I just feel like it was just a quick, like, yeah, the cat's cute. Turns out the cat's an alien. Scratches his eye. Shit gets infected. He no longer has his eye. You know what I mean? So it's like, oh shit. But either way, I'm nitpicking on that.
No, I mean, I could see like you'd probably want it to be like something doper that happened, and I'm in the middle with that. Like I could see, like, yes, you could say you want something doper to happen, but at the same time, I'm looking at it like he didn't believe in all that stuff before, like the aliens and all that
Yeah.
stuff before, until he sees it for himself, and then
Yep.
that like they just boom. Yes, they could have did something else, but I guess I'd rather be something similar to that, which I'm at the part right now where they just look down at the aliens junk.
Bro, that right there was fucking improvised by Samuel L. Jackson.
That was hilarious.
That was improvised, straight up. That wasn't supposed to be in the movie, and he literally, and they kept it. That
it
shit
worked.
was funny. Hell yeah.
I love when people do that. But yeah, but the eye thing, I'm like in the middle. Could it have been cooler? Yes, but it didn't really bother me to that point. I do like that they did show something, because I always wondered why he had that patch on his eye. So I do like that they did just show something, because again, they didn't have to. They could have just had him in this movie with a patch on his eye.
Yep.
Easily.
I mean, you always assume he's some type of a militant or whatnot, right? That's how he got there, so he lost it in battle or whatnot. I mean, he kind of did, but it wasn't the way. But now he's going to tell another cool story, like, so he sounds like a badass, even though, he ain't going to tell nobody, yeah, I got scratched by an alien cat.
I mean, then again, he might, because as the later movies progress and as he knows like what's going on now, knows more than what's going on.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, oh yeah, I can see how that happened. I'm sure the Avengers would crack jokes on him, but still, it'd be fun and funny.
Oh, you think that's funny, son?
Yep.
I've been whipping aliens' asses since before you, like, you know what I mean? Some stupid shit.
Street Fighter.
Street Fighter 2. Yep.
The arcade, I was so happy because that's my favorite fighting game of all time. Well, Super Street Fighter.
Yeah.
But either way, the one on Super Nintendo. But I love when they just showed that. Like, I love how this gave you like that kind of 90s feel with this movie, even with the beautiful cinematography, even with alien weapons and all that, because of course that's going to be futuristic. But just, I love when films do this type of stuff, right? Like, okay, we're going to base this film in the 90s for either the whole movie or a certain portion of it, but they do it right. And they did it right in this film. Again, Marvel's just...
Yeah, so the entire movie was literally filmed like it was a 90s action movie, and it had all of the clothing and art design, it had all of the music from the 90s, and they do a great job with this stuff. And that plays another role later in like Guardians of the Galaxy, which I won't give back because we're going to do that anyway. But they do this so well with the atmosphere of like the bars, the blockbuster, and all that shit. Another tidbit, that blockbuster scene, like you said, she crashes through and she fucking blows up the True Lies fucking poster, the Arnold Schwarzenegger, and it's like, oh shit. Funny little thing about that is it was actually supposed to be The Mask, but they couldn't get the rights to use The Mask, so they had to change what movie they were using.
Wow.
For the poster that they crashed through.
That's hilarious. And I mean, really quick, just because you talked about that scene, where could she get? Remember when she asked the security, "Hey, where can I get communication stuff from?" She points over Radio Shack.
Radio Shack.
Wow.
Yeah, I still wish there was Radio Shack, bro. Like, there's certain things you just can't get. You gotta wait for it if you order it online. It's 3 days to a week. You know what I mean? Like, you used to be able to run in, like, I need a transistor for this or a diode for this, or you know what I mean? Hey, I'm building this, that, and the third. You have this little motor, or all right, yeah, it's right here.
Radio Shack did have a lot of random stuff.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, we got it. Now they're gone, but
yeah, it is what it is. But that shit's funny how it was supposed to be The Mask because she was supposed to be scared by the green face, thinking it was a scroll, so she blows it up.
Oh, that would have. Oh man, that could have changed. Just that little scene, just knowing that could have changed just a tad bit. I mean, it wouldn't have been a big deal, but it would have been just a tad bit. Like, okay, cool.
Fucking what was another good little tidbit that I remember from this? Oh, Jude Law. He plays what's his name? You said it earlier. Jan Rog. Yeah, Jan Rogue or Jan Rog. So he was in a movie with Robert Downey Jr. previously. He was in Sherlock Holmes, right? He actually talked to Robert Downey about, hey, how do I do this and how do I get ready for this? Because if you know what I mean, like, and Robert's advice was essentially, just stay in the moment. Don't worry that you don't understand it. Don't worry you don't get the big picture. Don't worry that, none of this makes sense. Play your part. Play your role. Because this is something that is so much bigger than everybody and everything. Just play your role. So basically he consulted with Robert Downey Jr. before taking the role to decide whether or not and how he should approach it. Because, egos get involved sometimes, you know what I mean? And actors want to give their constructive criticism, but I think the character with this, that, and the third, and Robert's like, bro, don't do none of that. Go in, do your job. That's it. And I'm kind of glad he did that. I'm not gonna lie. Another little tidbit about Jan Rog as well. He wasn't the first choice.
Really?
They tried to get Keanu Reeves to do it. Apparently, Marvel's been trying to get Keanu Reeves in the MCU since it pretty much started, and they sit down with him for every movie, and he denies he's not the right character. No, this isn't me. No, I'm good, thanks.
I respect that. I respect that because if he feels I can't pull off this role to the standards that I would want this to be and the standards that I know you guys would want this to be, I'm not going to just do it for the bag, for the money. Like, I respect that because you could have a really good actor just in the wrong role and just hurt a movie bad.
Oh, yeah.
Real bad. And
oh, yeah.
We don't need that with the MCU right now.
Oh,
we had that before. Well, with the Marvel movies before.
I'm not mad at it because I think Jude Law did a great job with it. I mean, he was a great supporting actor. He played the role right down the middle the way he should have, as far as, even though he knew the truth, in his avoidance or whatnot, but he was still, he still liked her and still wanted her on his side, but at the same time, it's like, we're doing our job here. Like,
but did he like her, or did he just want her because of her power? Like, how he could weaponize her?
I mean, the whole the whole Creed themselves was what it was, because he wasn't in control. The lady he was, the thing that took the shape of her mentor on Earth is, the leader of the Kroll or whatnot. He's just a soldier. He's just a high up soldier. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you see him also, pick and choose what he releases and what information even to them and to his higher ups to try to get a hold of her, because they pretty much told him, yo, if you don't fucking do the job, we're coming. And he's like, no, we got it. I got it. We found her. I'm like, oh, sorry, communications aren't working. Click. Like, and then he went to go do it, and then he got his fucking ass kicked.
He definitely did. He definitely did. This was Okay, now we're at the scene where. Oh, so this is another funny part of the movie where they get locked up in the thing. Nick Fury tries to use his thumbprint to get out, doesn't work, so he, uses the guy's thumbprint with the tape.
Yep.
They go to the other door, and he's pulling his tape out of his pocket, getting ready to peel it apart. She just blows the handle off, and he's like, "You mean to tell me the whole time you could have did this? You just watched me do this?" And she was like, "I didn't want to steal your shine or something." I'm just like, so freaking funny because that's something that like I can picture being not that exact situation, but just like like I'll use you as an example. You're taller than me.
Yep.
Me climbing down a ladder to grab something, you could just reach up and grab. Like you couldn't just like I want to steal your shine. Like what? I had to go grab a ladder, Chris. You could have easily just reached up there and grabbed it, and I like that about it because it makes it that little funny comical part, and it puts a little realism. I mean, yes, she has powers, but you get what I mean. Like that's just something you could see yourself in a similar, minus the powers, you could see yourself in that situation.
Well,
Like
I
this,
mean,
so and so could have made it 10 times easier for you, and you're just
his dumb ass should have remembered too that she could have blown a hole into shit because the first time she met him outside the blockbuster, she saved his ass and fucking blew like a quarter of a building apart trying to get that other sniper. You know what I mean?
true, but maybe at the same time though, maybe what he was thinking,
More discretion, I think.
more discretion, but it could be a little bit of both because he does call her out. Like you could have just did this, da 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 da.
And there we go, him finding his cute little cat.
Oh, that part had me rolling. It
I
was
was
so, especially the very first time I seen. I was watching it with my wife because he just, oh yeah, kitty, all this stuff. And she just looked back at it.
He's
I'm like,
like, Fury, we got shit to do, man. Like, I was dying with how scared the crawl guy is towards
of the
that thing.
cat.
Yeah, he's like, that's not a cat. That's a whatever the fuck alien he is.
Oh,
And everybody's
it's,
like, what? And the cat's just until that one fucking moment at the end.
yes. There was that, and then there was another funny part with the cat thing is when they were getting on the ship to go to space,
Yep.
and Fury was like, "So can you turn into a cat?" He was like, "What's a cat?" He's like, "I'll give you $50 right now if you turn into a Venus flytrap." I was rolling because again, another situation where if say if shape shifting was real and you knew somebody like, yo, can you turn into like why? Yeah, I can, but why? Like,
Why?
no, he was like, can you turn into a filing cabinet? He's like, why would I want to do that?
Just
Oh
cause.
my gosh! I'm like, yo, can you turn into a car?
Like,
That's my
you know what I mean? Like, what level of transformation do we got? Does it have to be organism based, or can it be anything you see or touch? Because we could turn you into a fucking jet plane, get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
but
But
they do such a great job with all of this, especially interjecting the humor. And honestly, they didn't even stick to the normal like flow of the formula for this movie. I mean, it doesn't. Yeah, it really doesn't flow because it gives you backstory and glimpses, and it shows you the space aspect instead of it being just the whole story thing, and then kind of filling in gaps with like oh shit parts, oh shit parts, oh shit parts. You know what I mean?
mm,
This one was completely different from the other ones as far as the way they told the story and brought it out. But this one it was also I think it needed to be this way so that you can feel it and kind of gauge the whole relationship of new understanding and like hey there may be people coming after us and they may be infiltrating our thing. We thought we were the good guys but we're not. And then
mhm.
tons of different aspects with deception there, even in the humans reign with shield and shit like that. You know what I mean? Where the scroll guy ended up mimicking Cage's or Nick Fury's fucking Nick Cage. That's Mortal Kombat. Uh, Nick Fury's boss. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, yeah. And so I like how again they get into the room she wants to get into. She's going through the files and all this stuff. And she's like older pictures, and she's getting small glimpses of her memory back, like just
Yeah.
tiny bits of just filler stuff. And I think that's amazing. I think that's again they just she's still confused with it because of course she calls the Kree,
Yeah.
but I like how it builds. I love the build up for it, and then when she finds out, she's just like, all right, it's time to change some stuff. It's time to shake it up. It's time to help out the people I really need to be helping,
Yep.
and get rid of this group. Get
Again,
out.
a play on a person's internal compass, right? And a play on the person's character. You know, just like Captain America, hey, I gotta help, I gotta do something no matter what.
Yeah,
Even if I'm the little guy that's gonna get his ass kicked or die, I gotta do it. You
yeah,
know, and
and
she's like, wow, I have this power, and then realizes, shit, I was given these powers for a reason, and they've just been bottlenecking me. They've been controlling the shit and suppressing it.
she had that little thing on because she was like, "I've been fighting with one hand this whole time. Now I'm
Yep.
about to fight with two."
Yep.
That was dope too. And then just the growth, the character development, the story development. Like it was cool because I like how they tell the stories with the whole Marvel thing. And I'll just go from Captain America to Agent Carter one shot, and this. Even though one shot was only 15 minutes, but I love the build up and like how they're telling the story and just making you actually care for these characters.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of movies that I'm not even gonna mention them again. But there's a lot of things that don't do it very well, and you don't even care if something happens or doesn't happen to a certain character. You know what I mean? They're
Yep.
just like, who cares?
And no one's left behind. You know what I mean? They show and they keep reminding you in certain spots just how vital certain people were in certain things, and at different times people get mentioned. You know, like Captain America or Agent Carter, like they come up again and they're relevant to the story, even though the story's progressed and we're now X, Y, and Z amount of time down the road and in the future.
Yeah.
As this goes on and this movie gets done and it climaxes and they do the battles and all that stuff, you then get the downturn, right, where it's peace again. She's talking to Fury and it's like, hey, here's this. Only use this for emergencies. Like, I'll be here to help. I can help you with protect the Earth. You know, this is my home too, essentially. But there's
Mm-hmm.
others I gotta go help because she knows just how far reaching the Creed's, impact was and the shit that they were doing. And now she's like, I gotta go write this. I'm one of the only people who can.
Yeah.
I can take care of this. I gotta go do this. But if you need me, I'm here for you. You know what I mean? So that's dope. And then it shows time pass, and at the end of this, it shows Fury talking to Agent Carlson, where he's sitting at the desk, and he comes up with the idea of essentially the Avengers team. He starts to do his report and the typewriting to make his proposal. You know, and
Mm-hmm.
and Agent, oh, what do I call it? What's his name? Agent what? Olson or
For his,
his partner there? Coulson, Agent Coulson. Coulson's like, you think we can find others? He goes, we found her and we weren't even looking for him. Like, imagine if we start looking for some people, you know what I mean? So it's
yeah,
like, all right. So then it's dope because he goes down and he has to find and train all of these people eventually throughout time. And you learn to see that this was such a thing for him. It became his life legacy. It became his pursuit that this is him at, 25, 30, coming up through the ranks of Shield, and then he takes it over eventually, and then he has to again present this to them. And it's like, I told you, but we'll get into that later. we're a couple movies away from that one, but it's cool to see the beginning of where the idea came from, and then how it's going to get molded to situations with not only capable people that work around him, but then the important people like Black Widow and Hawkeye, who are just human on Earth. And
mm-hmm.
then we start to get into, hey, we thawed out Captain America, and then we get into, uh, you know, uh, the Iron Man, which is coming up next. Then we get into, after Iron Man, then we start looking at,
Thor right after that,
yep,
right?
yep, yep,
Thor. I know eventually Thor. Eventually, you mentioned Guardians of the Galaxy.
yep.
Black Panther. There's so many, and what I like about this a lot, what I love about this a lot, I'll say, and what I think is amazing about this, and I don't think it can ever be done again. How many franchises are out there? Because we can call this a franchise, couldn't we?
Yeah, absolutely.
To where how many are out there to where they're just that successful? Like damn near every single movie is that success. We're gonna go down the list and all this stuff, but if you think of other movies that made franchises where they don't even make, let's just say if they make 10 movies, 5 movies, there's a lot where there's like, okay, they made 10 movies. There's like I enjoy this franchise, but and I'll go jump into horror. Friday the 13th, love the franchise, love it. Not the greatest horror movies, but I love it. Not the greatest movies, but I love it. But these are amazing. Like I don't see any other movies doing what this did.
You know, and it's crazy because it's one big umbrella, right? You got that Marvel MCU, and then of that, you have all these individual stories that are being told with their own continuations and sequels that like their own franchises within the big ass fucking
Again,
franchise. You know what I
yes,
mean? They're so it literally branches off and creates this web of timelines and all this shit that all is in the same. It's so fucking expansive and so cool. I love it, man. I can't say enough. Like you said, I'm gonna praise this thing probably to the day I die, because like you said, they're not gonna do it. Like honestly, I want DC and fucking WB to pull their head out their asses and go, you know what? My bad. Hey, Mr. Feig, Kevin Feig, and John Navarre or Farival, and fucking start pulling them together to make teams so that they can fix your shit and do what the fuck you should have done from the get go.
yes. And listen, DC, you don't have to do another Batman, another Superman. We know who they are. Let's do all the other characters. Let's do everybody else in DC.
They're trying to. They're trying to, but they're
Let's
not making
let's
them shine the way they're supposed to, man.
because they can't. Because they can't. They need to get the right people behind it. They need to get the right people behind it. That's what. That's the main thing. They need to get the right people behind it. That's creating it, directing it, all that stuff, and then the right people to act in it.
Yeah, they're and the thing that sucks is they're doing too much of the hey, we got a budget, we got the movie rights, right? We got the intellectual property rights, so we're gonna hire some people to do it. And you know what? We really like the vision they're taking with it. No, why? You have the source material. It's already laid out for you for like 60 fucking years. Why do you allow people to fucking deviate so far from the shit? Like, come
It's
on.
it's bad. I want to see a good Green Lantern movie with
You
Green Lantern, John Stewart as the Green Lantern.
John Stewart?
John
Like the
Stewart.
comedian John Stewart?
No. John Stewart was he was a Green Lantern, the
Oh,
Black Green
oh, oh!
Lantern.
I thought you meant like the guy that
Oh
does like the spoof news and shit. I was
no,
like
not him.
John Stewart.
Not him. No.
Really?
I mean John Stewart, the Green Lantern character of John Stewart. Him.
As much as I wasn't looking forward to seeing the Batman coming out, I kind of am at this point. Just to kind of, you know what? Let me put to the side the bullshit, because we complained when all Val Kilmer and all those and fucking George Clooney came on, when they changed from fucking Michael Keaton. Then we complained when we redid them and we came out with, Christopher Nolan's Batman and fucking what the fuck's his name? I can't remember his name now.
Christian Bale.
Christian Bale, yep. Which
See,
awesome
those
job.
those I loved.
Yeah.
Like if they would have went in that direction with, I'll say because it was darker with the Batman stuff, fine, perfectly fine. Then you say you do a decent Superman, perfectly fine. And then after that, you have to start introducing other characters. You can't keep doing Batman, Superman, Batman, Superman.
I don't understand why they then deviate from that, because okay, oh well, we concluded that and it has nothing to do with this universe and all. So why are you making? You already have this planned out. You already know where you're going with this, and you got this whole big scheme of things. Why do you keep producing these movies? And like at that point, then it should have stopped at Christian Bale. There should not have been a fucking Ben Affleck, and there should not have been a Robert Pattinson. But now you're doing Ben Affleck, which goes into the DC universe from the Justice League and some of these movies that are coming out. But now you're also you're doing another Batman with a different character that supposedly isn't going to have anything to do with the universe, with the expansion of the Flash and the Justice League and all this other shit, which then you're fucking that up because you already had a Flash in place that fucking made tons of money and people loved with fucking Henry Grant or whatever the fuck his name was from the TV shows. You had an Arrow character people connected with and loved from Arrow. Like you had a Supergirl, you had a Superman that with Henry Cavill when he came and did the second one, Superman Returns, and then you come out with these other TV shows that have nothing to do with nothing and none of that shit. It makes no sense that you even have this much money to just throw at shit and hope shit sticks. Like, why don't you just fine tune your shit? Go, no, let's come up with a game plan. Let's stick to it. And if motherfuckers don't want to stick to the game plan, we find somebody else to do it.
I'm glad you mentioned that. As far as the Arrow show and as far as the Flash show, how would you feel if they brought those characters into like on the big screen?
I was hoping they did. I was praying they did. Like, it was stupid when they fucking pull out the Flash and he's some, like, I don't even know what he is, Asian American mix or some shit? Like,
I'm not sure.
like I was like, who is this fucking kid? Like he's a little more awkward than I wanted. Like Barry Allen had his from the show had his like innocence, but his like, hey, I have power. I need to make this work, and how can I make this work even more to make sure I can keep everybody safe than the loved ones? And then they did a great job at throwing that mesh in with certain things on the crossovers and stuff like that. But they should have like Henry Cavill should have definitely been the Superman. Then fucking homeboy from the Flash, Green Arrow should have made an appearance with fucking what's his
Stephen Amell.
Stephen Amell, yep. And then fucking let that go. Like if you wanted to include Supergirl or whatnot, fine. Or if you wanted to create a character of Superboy or whatever, the S from like Titans, you got the kid from the show Titans that they just put out, which doing a great job. Like you have these things in place. You pay these people a little bit bigger bucks for these movies, and they were gonna do it, and this was gonna make more sense and be just like Marvel was. But they literally said, "Nah, we're good with that," because they didn't want to deal with that shit and figuring out contracts and all that shit. And it's like, man, you guys missed the opportunity and missed the boat on that one. Because honestly, there's nobody who's a fan of DC that would have been mad to see Stephen Amell as fucking Arrow, as the Green Arrow in a movie.
Not at all.
You know what I mean?
And it just goes to show you who's paying attention and who's not when it comes to creating stuff like this. Because obviously Marvel's paying attention because they made 30 films damn near, and they're making more. And guess what? People are still lining up to go see them in theaters multiple times, mind you.
Yep.
Not just once, but multiple times.
Yep.
And I don't mean like everywhere. Well, I'm sure everywhere does. I don't know. But I'll say around us, we have places where we can go watch a film for say like $8 to $10. You go to one of them smaller theaters. No, people are going to see these in the IMAX, right. Like the not just going to like say like a regular Regal cinema, just watching the regular, however much it costs. Now, no, like let me go see this in IMAX, and let me go see this in all these other ways of watching these films in theater.
Right, because like, you want to see this at the best possible experience and way that you can. You want your eyeballs, you want your ears, you want to feel the rumble. You just want to be so immersed because these things are so expansive and they have you so connected that you'd be doing it this justice. If I know sometimes you can't afford to do it, but if you're not saving up the extra $10 for your ticket to go watch these things in RPX or in IMAX or whatever the hell, the new Dolby Vision or whatever, I'm sorry, you're missing out.
I agree.
You're missing out. If you're not waiting to watch this shit on 4K or if you can borrow the Blu-ray, the 4K HD, Ultra HD or whatever, you're missing out. Like these are meant to be seen. This is top level shit. This isn't fucking like you said yesterday on the podcast. This isn't great value. This isn't fucking the store brand bullshit. This is top notch, top level connoisseur type production movies.
With that being said, DC, stop making great value products that are on the. Not only are they great value products, there's some decent ones, but the cheap knockoff, nasty Pop Tarts, you know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
That are not only are they great value, but you have on the clearance rack, so they're already your brand, the cheap brand, and on top of that, now okay, well, this little $3 thing, we're gonna put it on the clearance rack. We just want to get this shit out of here because nobody's buying it.
Yeah.
DC, stop doing that. Stop forcing this stuff out. Take your time. Take a couple of years off. Get some new creators. Get some new writers. Get some new everything. Start over. Hit reset. Whatever. Let's see what the Batman does. Like if the Batman does good, build off of that. Build off of the Batman. But you're doing 18 different things, 18 different universes for DC where all these characters can connect in one universe. Look how Marvel's doing it.
It makes no sense. It makes no sense. I mean, I've seen some of the trailers for some of the new shit, some of the teasers. They're not even trailers. For like Black Adam, they show Hawkman the Hawk or Hawkman. They show him in them. The Rock as Black Adam. I'm a fan of the Rock, but at the same time, we'll see how it goes. Because honestly, I would have used him in a Marvel movie. I would not have. Like, I don't know how Marvel didn't use him. He's one of the biggest actors and highest paid and most wanted actors at the current moment. And you let fucking DC come and grab him for Black Adam.
But I will say this.
He probably wanted to do it, honestly.
Yeah, he I'm sure he did. That's one. And two, Marvel doesn't need The Rock. DC needs The Rock more than Marvel does. Why? Because DC doesn't have, like, nobody's, I'm not going to say nobody, but for the most part, put it this way, if Marvel and DC drop the same day, more people are going to rush to see that Marvel film than they are to see the DC film.
You know what's fucking sad about that statement, though? Is that Marvel is like, we can make it happen with anybody as long as we make sure they fit. Where DC's like, no, we need a name. We need people to make them come to the theater. Like,
which brings me back to my argument with Aquaman and Jason Momoa. That was to get women in the seats. That was to get like, hey, and that was to get like, hey, say we go on a double date. Say you're, I don't know if your better half is into these type of films or not. Let's just say they're not. Double date. Oh well, Jason Momoa's in. Oh yeah, we're gonna go see him. Blah, blah, blah. But the film sucked. Like, I hate when they do that. Don't do that. Just like you said, Marvel got the characters that fit. Which I do have a discussion for Iron Man 1 that I cannot wait. That's why I wrote it down. Because it's gonna be a fun
one. We're gonna wait on that one. But
that's why I wrote it down.
I don't even understand. Like, all right, we're not talking DC now no more. No. I'm getting pissed off, and now I'm thinking about how bad just the water effect was and his flowy hair and shit. Like,
it was ugly. It was horrible. Like, I'll put it to you like this: the only way I would watch that movie again is if we were reviewing it, and if we're gonna review it and bash it, I'm fine with that. But other than that, I don't ever want to see that movie again.
All right, so getting back to Captain Marvel here and the Marvel MCU. So, it's that time.
It's that time.
It's that time. We had a lot to talk about on this movie. You know what? Let me hold up for just a second.
Got you.
We're at the end, right? We got through everything. And we just said we saw Nick Fury coming up with the passion project, the Avengers, and brings up to Coulson. He starts writing the report. Then it cuts to the mid scene where the beeper stops beeping, and Captain America's there, Black Widow's there, Don Chiodo and War Machine is there, and they're like, "Well, what the hell's going on? I thought we bypassed the battery on this thing. How come it died? It just stopped producing signal." And then Black Widow's like, well, I want to know who's on the opposite end. And she turns around and fucking Brie Larson's there, Captain Marvel, and she just says two things. Where's Fury? And it ends the fucking scene. I'm like, dude, that is so dope, because that's now from the time she came down in 1995. We're now talking 20 years later in time, almost caught up to real time in the MCU universe for when those movies were coming out in like 2015, 2016, right? To that Avengers situation where they're like, who the fuck is this? And she just showed up. How did she come in, not be detected? And it's like, where's Fury? And she's smart enough not to shoot first and ask questions later. Like, all right, you had the beeper, which means Fury trusted you. Where's Fury? I fucking love that.
Yes.
I fucking love that.
This. Hell yeah. No, I'm just going to say, like, I have, like, hardly any complaints about any of these films we watched so far with this.
I'm glad.
Little to no.
You fast forward through the credits, and the fucking cat hops up on Nick Fury's desk and throws up the goddamn Tesseract. Because not for nothing, up until that point, you're like, but the cat swallowed the Tesseract. And if you've seen the other movies, because they came on different successions, right, between their phases and shit, you're like, you got to stop to think, like, okay, if the cat ate the Tesseract, where's the Tesseract? How the fuck does Loki get it? How does it come into play in some of these other movies and all this other shit? And you're like, and they just literally let the cat come up and fucking hurl up a Tesseract hairball. Like, I'd almost love to see that cat become another entity within this movie, like this franchise.
That, okay, and this is no disrespect, but just seeing that cat in the films here and there, the orange cat, would be a little funny, fun thing to see in all the films, just in the background somewhere.
Actually, I'm going to be paying attention, because I think I know of a spot where it has an opportunity to. But we'll get to that on one of the other podcasts, one of the other reviews. But I think I know the best place for it. If let's see how much attention to detail there is, because there's definitely a place and opportunity for that cat to make an appearance. So, yeah,
I'm here for it. I'm here.
All right, so now we get down to it.
Are you sure?
Yeah. I got nothing. I mean, yes, I can talk more and more because they're great movies. They're fabulous movies. You know what I mean? So, with that being said, Sir Sturdy, Agent Sturdy.
Yes.
What do you give this movie, Captain Marvel, on a rating from 1 to 10?
Cool. A 1 to 10 rating. What do you think, Sturdy Bones?
Ese, yo no sé, bro.
You were watching it. I'm gonna give this one an 8 as well. Like
8?
it just, yes. It fucking did what it was supposed to do. It dragged you in. The story, like it all connects. Like from beginning to end, it all connects, and it's just like now you see why they're showing these little points. Like when again the beginning of the movie where she crashed the go kart thing,
Yep.
where when she's in the army and she falls off the rope. Just those little things, they kind of put it all together and plug it all together, and you get this beautiful story out of it. Like that's just breaking it down very, very simplistic. This is definitely something that where I'm glad that that I'm watching this, that I'm reviewing these, because I'm gonna be honest, as bad as I did want to go back and watch these because there's so many damn films and I'm a part of other podcasts. Like I have my own show, Popcorn and Pints, and I have another show that I don't know how much longer it's gonna last, but still, it's tough to kind of like break. But now it's like, okay, I have to watch these because we're gonna be reviewing, so I have to watch these, and I'm glad I do. So yeah, this movie's an easy 8 for me again. Nice. So that's 3 8s in a row so far. Off to a great start.
Yeah, absolutely. That's super dope. I'm so happy for that. See, and this is why I wanted to do this, was because I know there's gonna be people that might even pick up or not realize certain things and certain Easter eggs about these movies till we start to talk about them and like we start to point them out and discuss them. You know, but just the exposure that we'll be giving them. Yes, this has been out for a while. Yes, these movies have been out, but to get another person's take, another couple people's take, and inputs and perceptions on it, it just brings a new feel to it as well. And like I said, these things are timeless, right? These things are going to be talked about forever, pretty much. I mean, we're not even done yet to the point of like, can you imagine when a box set comes out for the MCU with the entire thing? We're talking like 200, like who knows when they end, but let's say it's like 100 movies, 70 movies. I ain't gonna be mad spending no fucking $1,000 on that box set.
See, and I want to say something about that too. Nope. That's the type of thing where it's like, yes, you have the streaming thing, but it's like I need this in my collection. It's gonna stay in the box. It's not gonna get open. Kids, keep your greasy fingers off of it. Don't even look at it. Don't even fucking breathe around it. You shouldn't even know that this is here. Matter of fact, get out. Yep. But yeah, that is going to be something to where you better start saving now.
Exactly.
You better seriously start saving now, because when that big box set comes out, you're going to want it.
Especially with the pace of digital media, where we're far and farther away from physical media. It's becoming a problem. Like hard drive space in the cloud is going to run out. We're not going to be able to have things. We're going to lose our passwords. Like systems are going to fuck up and go down. It's going to be like, you don't own this. Like what you do? Yeah. What, do we even own anything anyway? And that's kind of the problem right nowadays. Is like you don't actually own it. You're paying for the right to be able to view it or play it or listen to it, not to own it. I want this shit. I don't want nobody to be like, yo, this ain't yours. No, this is mine. I have the possession. I paid for it. It's mine.
That is one thing I do love, those the physical meat just being, I mean, you know me from being a horror fan. When you came through one day and you seen the stuff I have here. Yeah. And I'm just like like, yo, I prefer physical media as far as for the collection, but digital is easy just to throw on a movie and watch. You know what I mean? That's the cool thing about it. But I want both. Like, I know people, I want both. Like, I don't know if Blu-ray still do it because I haven't bought a new Blu-ray in a little bit. But I miss some Blu-rays. Remember how you can, you buy the Blu-ray and you got the little code in there? So it's like, okay, I can put this movie to the side and I can just watch it on my computer, on my TV. I just got to do this little, I miss that. Like, I wish that when I would love for it to when you buy any movie, you buy a movie, if you could just even scan your case, like with your phone, or if you scan your case, you have your little login thing, boom, it's locked into your collection, it's locked into your thing, so you can log in, watch it, because you could watch it on whatever the site is you have to watch it on. If it's YouTube, whatever it is, you should be able to watch it on all those platforms. Matter of fact, I feel like if you own the physical copy of it, you should be able to scan your case, and then whatever platform it's on, you should be able to watch it. If it's on Amazon Prime, boom, I scan, boom, I should be able to watch it without having to rent or pay for it again.
Right.
And all that, just so, because again, collectors, You don't want your stuff getting all scratched, all that stuff, whatever the case may be. Movie buffs in general. You don't want your stuff getting all tore up. Just throwing some ideas out there, people. Just, those that can do that, make it happen ASAP.
Nah, they want you to be able to buy it again because then you pay them again. They make another $3.5 trillion on you having to buy it again.
I'm gonna lie and say I won't buy it again, but I know for a fact there's some Friday the 13th movies. As a matter of fact, I have, so when the DVDs first came out, I got that box set, and then the wife went to Hawaii back in October, and her and my stepdaughter went halves and got me the newest Blu-ray thing that came out with the lithograph and the poster in box.
Yeah.
Which was just dope. Like I haven't cracked that Blu-ray box open yet. I just looked at everything and I'm just like, because my wife was like, when are you gonna open? I'm like, I don't know. Because I'm thinking about it. I'm like, I don't know if I want to or not. Like it's tough. It's tough because that's my favorite slasher, Friday the 13th. And oh man, I can go on and on about this stuff.
Believe me, if I could get a sealed box set of the Friday or Nightmare on Elm Street, I'd keep that because I got the DVD box set. But if I can get one like that final edition, whatever the fuck that is, sealed, keep that. I'm good with that. Like I don't even care if that never gets open because there's just certain things it's gonna be worth something later. You know what I mean? It's like I don't.
Here's the funny thing with me though, yo. Like I have these figures and stuff, and there's days where I'm like, I just want to open it and just have them in cool, funny poses, especially with the whole TikTok thing that I'm using, trying to grow on that. But then at the same time, I'm like, what you just said about the worth, but I know I'm never gonna sell this stuff. The only way I would sell this stuff is if I absolutely had to. Yeah. And if that's the case, I'm just gonna get a second or a third job, like before it comes to having to sell stuff like this, because
that's funny.
It's one of those things to where some people might see, oh, this is just a toy. It's like, no, this is something that I grew up loving as a kid. Now I can own these things, and this goes for collectors all around the board. And it makes you happy. It keeps you, you know what I mean? It makes you happy. Puts a smile on your face. It's something simple. Who cares? Like. Yep. I'm not gonna sell this stuff. Yes, I get the stuff autographed, but I know I'm never gonna sell it. But I just don't want to open it. I would love to have the fun to be like, okay, let me get 2 of these so I can play with this one or whatever. Have it set up here, and this is just gonna go on the shelf. this is gonna be what I bring to the con to get signed, and it's gonna go right back on the shelf. Yep. Yes, it's still in the box. I know all that, but man, what's your rating for this though, man?
I'm giving this one a 9.
Ooh. A 9.
And I'm gonna be straight with you. This wasn't up until I watched it again today. This wasn't even one of my most favorite. This was honestly gonna be like my 7-8 probably when I first started thinking about it, and then watching it again and thinking about it and like realizing a couple things while we talked about it. I'm like, you know what? Not for nothing. This is one of the most essential movies needed in the progression and succession of this franchise, of this whole timeline, because this is where the whole aspect of outer space and whole aspect of the Kree and other entities in space comes in, which is the whole fucking from the midway on what's happening, what's going on, and what leads to certain choices and all this other shit, which we'll get into more, which we'll get to see, because Iron Man 3 is next. So once we get through that one, we start to see just how the shit starts to pile and how mentalities start to change and how there's needs that need to be met. And, shit starts to develop and go. And this is literally where it all kind of starts. Yes, you can say Captain America is the first Avenger. Yes, you can say Agent Carter plays a huge role. But as far as where we go down the storyline in understanding the heroes of this whole story that's being told, this is the beginning process of it. This is where Fury comes to fruition on his dream, where he starts to build it, where we see the space aspect, where we see all that other shit start to really start to come to light on what games are being played and what's happening and all that shit. So yeah, I'm giving this one a 9 for the Worst Damn Gamer.
Sir Sturdy's giving it an 8, which is solid.
Yep.
I forgot to bring it over again, people, but so far the first 3 things we watched, which was Captain America, Agent Carter, the one-shot Agent Carter, and now Captain Marvel, all 3 of those got the Sir Sturdy stamp of approval. By next episode, I'll have my stuff together. For those of you who support with Sir Sturdy and Popcorn and Pints, you know exactly what I'm talking about. This definitely gets it. There's no way this can't get it. Now,
I'm sure there's going to be some people that are like, whoa, how come you're not watching the whole Agent Carter series? Because, bro, we ain't got time right now to be watching 6, 7 fucking seasons of Agent Carter and Agents of Shield and all this other shit. And not for nothing, some of those stories don't exactly always lead back to this timeline and what's going on here, even though it's in the same timeline. But for the meat and potatoes of it, to keep the story going, to keep everything going for the bigger picture shit, this is the best way that Disney's put it together and showed it to us. After I've watched it and finally watched those one shots, this is the best way for you to get it all in the simplest way for the masses, essentially. The diehard fans are going to be the ones that are going to sit there and watch through, 3-5 seasons of Agent Carter, 3-5 seasons, 7 seasons of Agents of Shield, and now we got the Loki, we got WandaVision, we got Hawkeye, we got What If, we got all this shit. So bear with us. Yes, I'm excluding Agent Carter because in reality, we know the story, we know what happened. We don't need to see all the extra bullshit because now when the story really gets heavy is after Captain America, which is right here, Captain Marvel. And from here on out, it's all the shit that is like, oh, big picture shit.
I was going to say too, like, it's not that we wouldn't do the show. We just don't have time.
Right.
Like that time.
Yep.
I mean, if, someone wants to give us a good chunk of change, we'll review the whole damn Marvel universe, but we need time.
Yeah, so for those episodic installments like Loki, like Winter Soldier and Falcon and all that stuff, what I think we're gonna end up doing is giving a general review and overview of the whole series and discussing them. So those episodes might be a little bit longer than some of these, so they might be a 2-hour episode instead of an hour to hour and a half episode, because I still want to discuss them, and they play a huge role in the whole storytelling of everything with the cosmics and what's going on, and then leading up to things like Shang-Chi and the Eternals, and then Hawkeye, and then now the next phases of the MCU to come. And that's one of the other reasons why I'm trying to limit and mitigate some of that, is because this is going to get worse. This is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And we got to be able to cover it all as much as we can, as fast as we can. I got a late jump start creating this podcast and actually diving in. But at the same time, we can still get it to it. We can get the point across. We can give you all that you need. The big picture shit, the meat and potatoes, the exciting shit, the shit that you're not going to be mad that you missed out some of that stuff. Trust me, you're not. Because I've seen them. You're not.
Not at all. Not at all. This is, I'm so happy about this. Like, again, this is going to be a fun journey. And I hope you all stick along for the journey. Stick along for the journey and watch us. Just watch us. We have a lot of fun with all these type of reviews we do. So you need to just buckle up, check out the Z Network, and you're going to be very entertained. That I can guarantee.
These are going to get put into a playlist on YouTube. They're going to be live, or they're going to be put up on Twitch as well, once I go live and all that stuff. So you can watch it there, and at the time it's supposed to be, Saturday nights at midnight. There's going to be bonus episodes. I'm going to try for the one-shots to do whenever they pop up, those as a bonus episode, either on a Monday or Wednesday. So look out for that. Check out the notifications, hit the bell, hit the like, hit the subscribe. Come back for other content, because after this, like I said, we're gonna go into even other expansive universes, from 3, 4, 5 types of movies that have 3, 4 different iterations of them as sequels. We're gonna have different types of genres as well, so don't feel like, oh well, he's just a Marvel guy, oh he's just a gamer dude. He's like, I like all genres of movies. I try not to watch bad movies and stuff like that. So, and I'm handpicking some of these or whatnot. I'm going to open up forums to you guys as well. Ask for, recommendations and shit like that you want to see reviewed, or that you think other people may want to see. So don't worry. Don't shy. There's going to be content. There's going to be engagement. There's going to be things coming your way that you may want to see or you may not want to see, but you know what? You're still probably going to watch it, because shit, we're going to try to be as entertaining as we can. We're going to try to be as genuine and as real as we can, because you're seeing us here and literally as we come. You walk out on the street, you catch us on the street, we're going to talk to you the same exact way. You know what I mean?
I do want to say this, like, me and him are probably the most animated on the Z Network. Joe's probably right up there with us, but this is not an act. This is how we actually are. Right. Maybe not 24/7, but this is how we actually are. Like, this is our personalities. enjoy it. You're gonna enjoy it. And I just want the bad movies thing. He is gonna be watching and reviewing bad movies because on Horror Research, I'm just letting you guys know. You want to see some bad movie reviews, some good movie reviews, you're gonna get that over there. Horror,
exactly.
100% horror, but it's just gonna be, it's a mixed bag.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, no disrespect or anything like that. I'm not trying to jab or nothing. I'm just saying, like, yo, I'm gonna try to make sure that as much as you're entertained, I'm being entertained too. Like,
I didn't take I didn't take it as a jab. I'm just throwing it in there. Like, listen, you wanted to hear about me talk about some horrible movies, which come on to Horror Research 30 for that. You guys can check that out as well, and you'll have a great time.
I also want to throw the caveat out that, listen, this isn't going to be just a movie where I love, or a movie review where, we just love every movie. No, we're going to watch mainstream movies. We're going to watch a bunch of titles that were popular picks or that are trending and shit like that. But we're going to give you the honest opinion. And if they're fucking bullshit, you're going to hear me tell you they're fucking bullshit.
Yes. You already know I'm going to say it.
Yeah, Marvel's not bullshit so far.
No.
So far.
I have no issues talking shit about bad movies.
Exactly.
I love it. I just love doing this. I love the conversation because, again, it brings you back to your childhood, sitting down with your friends and family, and just, what did you guys think of this movie? For me, it was more so horror movies and maybe Batman with Michael Keaton and all that. But just strap up, guys, ladies and gentlemen, buckle up, and enjoy the show, enjoy the ride. That's all I'm gonna say.
That's it.
Buckle up, enjoy the ride.
The Midnight Matinee is here in full swing again, y'all. I appreciate your time, Sir Sturdy. Thank you for gracing me with your presence yet again, which you're going to be on a few more here. By a few more, I'm trying to make sure you're on every single one of them. So some of these, like I said before, are going to be pre-recorded just like this one. Some of them are going to be live, but they will be dropping at the same times all the time, midnight. You can catch it then. You can catch it after the fact. Hit up the YouTube. Check out the playlists. I'm going to start dropping my movie or my music reactions and reviews as well to different music videos and different songs and shit like that. So that's coming. I got tons of gaming content that I'm filtering through right now because I spent the last 8 months creating stuff, editing stuff, learning these programs and doing all this. So now it's implementation time. It's actual action. So with all of that, you enjoy it. I play a range of games. I'm not even afraid to play something as stupid as like Wheel of Fortune. So whatever you want. Like I said, I'll open up certain forums to the Peanut Gallery. You know, if you guys want to get down, make some suggestions. If I can access it and I can get it in my hands, I'll try to play it. I'll try to review it. We'll talk about it. I got another segment that I'm going to be dropping. I'm coming up with the details now, and I'm trying to round up a few people to get me started and launched off with, to have some discussions with, where nobody knows what exactly we're talking about until the moment we're talking about it. So if that sounds like the good thing for you, if that sounds like shit, you know what, I like the Red Table of Jada Pinkett, or I like, you know, Joe Rogan's podcast. Well, guess what? I'm going to take it a little bit further. I'm not going to tell anybody what the topic is. It's not going to be in the preview. It's not, you might get a snippet if it's a pre-record, you know, to entice you to come watch, but you're not going to know what exactly is the full topic we're talking about, what drove us to that portion of the conversation, because I want the reactions to be in the moment. I want people to be thinking about this as they're talking about it, so that we can get the genuineness out of them. We can get them in the moment, unfiltered. Hopefully people watch what they say to certain extents, because I'm not afraid of profanity, but some shit can get wild sometimes with people's notions and shit. But at the same time, I'm really hoping that I can build that out as well, so that this is another portion of my stream, my branding, that you can come watch to be entertained. If I can fill up every week or every other week, Monday through Friday or Monday through Saturday, of content to put out, because I'm going to need a day to chill, you know what I'm saying? Even though gaming and stuff like that allows me to decompress as well, and I can catch that and put that up for you guys, because that's the dope part about the gaming. I'm having so much fun, and I can edit that up. I can make little chops for you and clips, get you to come watch the page, and then you can watch me play if you want. If you're down into the game, you can watch me improve. You can watch me suck. You can watch my temper come out. You can watch me get bashed verbally by fucking 8-year-olds, because that shit's funny too. You know, so there's shit for you to be had, you know, so I really hope you guys enjoy it. I hope I don't get too spammy with it, and if I do, just remember, if it's something that you're down with, watch it. Don't forget to share it. If it's something you're not down with, if you want to watch it just to kind of spend some time or listen to it, because these are also going to be put up on podcasts or on audio forms as well, then listen to it throughout your day. If you think there's somebody you know that would enjoy it, then share it. That's exactly the biggest thing. Just remember to share this shit. We're not doing this for nothing. We want to be able to entertain and share our word and our thought process and our perspective on everything from everyday life to shit in the fantasy world that we get to, you know, all enjoy, and we all have different outlooks on the shit. So share, like, hit the button, and don't forget to leave a comment, even if you're telling me this shit's garbage. I'm gonna have a response for you.
Same here. And I do want to mention this too, guys. He was mentioning the gaming thing. We do games together at times. Mm-hmm. And my brother joins us, my brother Henry, and and my stepdaughter Christina. And it gets funny.
It does.
It gets competitive in a friendly way, but it's always something silly and hilarious. Tune in for all that. Trust me, tune in for all that. Those are usually later at night, but it's worth staying up for the live and just enjoying it. Please, people, tune in for all that stuff. Again, check out myself, Horror Research 30.
Yep.
I'm actually working on my website, a page.
Sweet.
So what you guys will be able to see all of my stuff right there. Like, oh, I want to watch his YouTube video, but I don't want to go, boom, right there. Oh, I just want to listen to the audio. Boom, right there. All that'll be right there. There's going to be some fun stuff. That's all I'm going to say. I got to work on some more things. Tune into it. I'm telling you guys, tune into it. Tune into the Z Network. Tune into the Midnight Matinee. Tune into Horror Research 30, Popcorn and Pints, all the above. Any last words? All of it. And I mentioned Any Last Words because she is a huge supporter of us. Just check out the whole Z Network. You guys are going to have a great time. Very entertaining. Yes, there's a lot of movie podcasts on there. Yes, there's a lot of horror stuff, but we also do we don't just podcasts. We do other things. We do other things, like gaming and other stuff. We have some fun stuff coming up, hopefully for the summer. In the summer, this summer, hopefully, if all goes well. So again, people, lock in. Buckle up, lock in, get us in the beginning, because you're going to want to see this growth. Kind of like the Marvel Universe. Here's how I'm going to do it.
Yep.
Kind of like the Marvel Universe, how these films came out. You're going to want to see where we started and where we end up. Not where we end, because we're not done. We're never going to finish. But where we end up, like, say, in 2 years from now.
Yep.
Guys who follow Horror Research 30, you've seen my growth within the past 4 years. Check me out in another 4 years. Just saying, guys. We're like the Avengers.
Yeah.
We're like the Avengers.
We're building a team. We're assembling.
Yes, we are.
Ladies and gents, Saturday on 3/5, March 5th, we'll be doing Iron Man. I should have another guest besides Sir Sturdy and my ugly face on there. As long as everything goes well, you see our friend Jennifer. We'll be doing that Iron Man there. And then we got Iron Man 2 coming up the week after that on a Saturday. And then we'll have a one-shot coming out. Make sure you're catching. Make sure you're locking in. If you guys enjoy the way our setup looks, the Midnight Matinee, the logo, Sir Sturdy's background and all that stuff, hit up our boy Dreams the Creator on his Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube page. He has tons of content that he's starting to drop now on how to even do this stuff, but he can provide you the service of doing this and helping you build yours to look just as good as ours, because not for nothing, these streams are looking pretty fucking good. So thank you to Dreams for that.
Honestly, the overlay that I'm using right now, people, free 99. Free.
Mm-hmm.
Free. I'm using this overlay. I know I have other ones that he went in the. Yes, hit him up. You can get some dope stuff.
Yep, let him know. Let him know Dreams, or let him know Sir Sturdy sent you. Let him know the Worst Damn Gamer sent you. He'll hook you up with pricing on any of the other services if you want him to do it. He does video editing. He does content creation. He does music. He does photography. Like, you can book him for your wedding. Like, this dude does shit. He does real estate. He's the real deal. He's out of North Carolina. He's a 518 hometown boy as well, who's moved down there with his family and stuff. But check him out. Dude, go. Yes. Telling you. He's got his own clothing line. Dude is amazing. There's a reason his name is Dreams the Creator.
Yes.
With that being said, folks, I'm stealing Sturdy's line, even though I say it all the time, but he says it on the podcast, so I'm stealing it. With that being said, thank you for joining me and Sir Sturdy on this edition of the Midnight Matinee. It's the Worst Damn Gamer, reminding you sometimes in order to be the best, you gotta be the worst. Peace.
And I'll see you in your nightmares, people. You already know that.
Woo.